Hello guys, today we have an electric bike that managed to combine what is rarely found in the same package. A carbon frame only 16.2 kilograms, serious power and the practicality of a folding bike. The ADO Air Carbon Pro uses a 250-watt BAFANG motor with 15 Nm of torque, automatic 2-speed transmission, a double-side torque sensor, a carbon belt and a battery hidden in the seat tube. And then there is a hydraulic disc brakes, GPS protection, NFC unlocking, integrated lights and a whole range of smart features that make this bike much more interesting than it might seem at the first glance. Today we go through all its functions in details, see how it behaves in real life and see if this practical e-bike can really justify its status as a premium folding electric bike in this ADO Air Carbon Pro video review. The bike comes in a relatively compact box, unlike the massive ones we are used to see in these bike reviews. The bike itself is assembled in such a way that it takes up a minimal space and it's neatly protected from all sides so that it does not get damaged during transport. Along with the bike itself, we also got a box with accessories like this rear kickstand, a charger with adequate EU adapter, a classic plastic clip-on that we put on the wheels, interesting small but very durable metal pedals. Of course, there is also the ADO Air Carbon Pro instructions for using the bike. Assembly is minimal and intuitive, without nervousness and without the need to watch a tutorial. After removing the protection around the bike, all we have to do is mount the pedals, fold out the frame and put in this big long battery that is actually a seat, and the bike is ready to ride. Already at the first glance, the ADO Air Carbon Pro gives the impression of a very serious design bike. The biggest highlights is of course the frame made of carbon fiber instead of a classic aluminum frame most often used in folding electric bikes. ADO went for a lighter and premium material here. It is available in black and white, and this model comes in a very elegant Iceland black color. The frame lines are clear, modern and quite minimalist. There are no unnecessary decorations, large stickers or huge plastic panels that would immediately reveal that this is an electric bike. Even the cables are mostly routed through the frame, which further cleans up the entire design. And that's exactly why the Air Carbon Pro looks more like a premium classic bike. But then we come to a figure that is perhaps even more impressive, that its appearance. The ADO Air Carbon Pro weighs only 16.2 kilograms including the battery. That's a figure that is really hard to ignore for electric bike. Although this is not the weight of a regular bike, it's small enough that it can be lifted normally, carrying up the stairs, taken out of the apartment without feeling like a person is about to train in the gym, and this is one of the greatest features of a carbon frame. Now, one of the most interesting solutions is found in the seat tube. This Air Carbon Pro uses a 37 watts and 10 amp hour battery or 370 watt hour, which is completely integrated into the seat post. This solution has several very concrete advantages. The first is appearance. The battery practically disappears from the design, so there is no large housing on the down tube that is almost always the first thing we notice on a classic electric bike. Another advantage is the weight distribution. The battery is located very close to the center of the bike and directly under the rider, which helps keep the structure balanced. But perhaps most importantly, the battery is removable. That means that the entire bike doesn't have to be taken to a power outlet when the battery needs to be charged. The seat tube with the battery can be removed and the battery can be charged separately. This is very practical for anyone who keeps their bike in a garage or shed and wants to change the battery at home. ADO leads a maximum range of up to 100 km for this battery, but of course the actual range will depend on riding style, assistance level, rider's weight, temperature and terrain configuration. For a 370 Wh battery, this is a very respectable value, especially when you consider that the entire bike with the battery weighs just 16.2 kilograms. The main reason why someone chooses a folding e-bike is of course the ability to fold. The ADO has made this part very simple. The frame folds in the middle via a robust mechanism, the handlebars slide down the frame and the magnet helps hold both parts of the bike together. After a few tries, the whole process becomes very natural and does not require any special skills. When folded, the bike is compact enough to be stored in a trunk of a car, under a workbench or in a corner of the apartment. The BAFANG H700 motor located in the rear wheel is responsible for the drive. The motor develops 250 watt nominal power and up to 15 Nm of torque, and it's precisely these 15 Nm that are a very important figure when it comes to riding and acceleration more strongly. Combined with the very low mass of the bike, the motor does not have to move a huge additional load, so these 50 Nm can be put to very good use. But what makes this motor particularly interesting is not only its power, it has automatic 2-speed transmission. The automatic transmission is not only the thing that helps make the ride feel more natural, the drivetrain also features a dual-side torque sensor that tracks how hard the rider is pedaling. This is a big difference from the simple cadence sensor that only registers whether the pedals are turning. With the ADO, the motor can respond to the rider's actual effort. When you pedal harder, you get more assistance, and when you ease off, the assistance also decreases. This makes acceleration feel much more natural. The assistance constantly adapts to what the rider is doing. This is especially pleasant when starting from a standstill, riding through the corners and of course on climbs, where you quickly feel how much the torque sensor contributes to the controlling the bike. Another detail that sets the Air Carbon Pro apart from the many classic e-bikes is the power transfer to the rear wheel. There is no traditional metal chain here but a carbon belt. Although it may seem like a small difference at the first glance, the belt brings several very concrete advantages in everyday riding. First of all, it's extremely quiet. When the motor and belt work together, the entire drive system operates almost silently. In addition, the carbon belt requires very little maintenance and does not need constantly clearing and lubrication like a traditional chain drive. The Air Carbon Pro uses 20-inch wheels with a 20 by 1.75-inch tires. The wheels are large enough to keep the bike stable and predictable at the higher speeds. Compared to the very small wheels used on some ultra-compact folding models, these wheels provide noticeable more stability and behavior on asphalt. The Air Carbon Pro has no suspension, either front or rear. This is one of the things to consider before buying, because on the poor roads the rider will not get additional shock filtering. On the other hand, it's precisely such a rigid construction that gives the bike a very direct feel. The carbon frame also provides a very good ratio of stiffness to low weight, so the Air Carbon Pro feels more like a serious bike than a typical small folding e-bike. For riding around the city and urban areas, it's really perfect. Electro-hydraulic disc brakes on the front and rear wheels are responsible for braking. This is a very good solution for the bike that can develop a serious pace, especially when you consider that the total mass is small. In the city, this practicality is very important because you never know where a car, pedestrian or obstacle will appear that requires you to reduce speed suddenly. Hydraulics allow for powerful braking with relatively little pressure on the levers, but at the same time provide enough precision that the force can be easily dosed. The riding position on the Air Carbon Pro is more focused on comfort than an aggressive sport position. The steering wheel enables a relatively upright position on the body, which is very comfortable during city driving and longer daily routes. The seat is wide and comfortable enough for the purpose of the bike, and the wide range of the height adjustment allows the bike to be adapted to different riders with a height of 150 to 200 centimeters. The Air Carbon Pro can carry a total of up to 120 kilograms, which includes a rider and additional cargo. At the back there is a MIK compatible carrier that can handle up to 25 kilograms of cargo. It's especially nice that the rear LED lights is integrated into the mount itself, so accessories don't necessarily have to block the lights. The front LED light is also integrated into the frame and develops 170 lumens. It's not just a decorative light, but a powerful enough light source for everyday city driving after sunset. At the same time, it's nicely integrated into the front part of the frame and does not look like an additional element that was subsequently attached to the bike. The entire bike has IPX6 water protection, while the screen is protected according to the IPX7 standard. That means that the normal riding in the rain is not something that should immediately put this bike into a garage. On the left side of the steering wheel there is a small but very practical screen that displays basic information such as the current speed, battery level, selected operation mode and other important data while driving. Although it's not a large screen with many functions, it's efficient, clear and easy to use, and information is easily visible without having to take your eyes off the road. We especially like that the whole system is quite discreet and nicely integrated into this bike's minimalistic design, so it does not distract from its elegant and clear look. One of the details that stands out in the Air Carbon Pro is this NFC system for connecting the bike. Instead of a classic key or a complicated pin entry, the bike can be unlocked using the NFC card. It's enough to bring the card closer to the NFC area and the system turns on in a few seconds. You get to the bike, touch the card and you get started without looking for a key or involving additional procedures. ADO has foreseen the possibility of using smart functions through the application, so the whole system is a combination of a classical and a modern smart device. The Air Carbon Pro has a built-in anti-theft GPS system hides inside the bike structure. This enables an additional layer of security and bicycle tracking through the ADO smart connection application. The app connects to the bike via Bluetooth and provides access to the data, certain settings and safety functions. It should be emphasized that app is not why you should buy this bike, but as additional to the premium model, this definitely makes sense. All of these components ultimately only make sense when the bike hits the road, and that's where the Air Carbon Pro makes a very good impression. Only just 60.2 kilograms, the bike feels very light and lively. The 250 watt 50 Nm motor provides enough assistance for everyday riding, while the torque sensor allows the assistance to work naturally. The automatic 2-speed transmission removes yet another thing that the rider has no thinking about. In normal riding, everything works in the background. The rider presses the pedals, the torque sensor detects the power being applied, the motor adds the right amount of assistance, and the automatic transmission changes the gear ratio when needed. This is precisely why the Air Carbon Pro feels too easy to ride, even though the system is technically quite sophisticated. On the flat terrain, the bike is fast and lively, and the combination of 50 Nm of torque and automatic transmission delivers impressive power and smooth acceleration when more effort is needed. In Eco mode you can ride very economically and naturally, while in a Sport mode provides noticeably more power when you need to accelerate faster or overcome a steep climb. ADO Air Carbon Pro is a very interesting combination of low mass, serious drive and practicality of a foldable design. Its greatest value is its combination of carbon construction, low mass, smart drive and practicality that you will especially appreciate in everyday use. You will find links, additional information and possible discounts in the video description. Be sure to check them out and secure your ADO Air Carbon Pro while the promotional prices are ongoing. If you like the review, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and that's all for this review. See you in the next video. Until then, bye.